Ahoy hoy, I'm Planet Walk, and recently, FlatZoid did a live stream responding to a video of mine, and it was absolutely hilarious. Now sure, a lot of it is exactly what you'd expect from a flat earther. I mean, they did do a 2-hour live stream responding to my 10-minute video, so exactly what you'd expect to see from a flat earther. But what I did not expect to see is them getting so triggered over the baphy plushie. But you will see what I mean. Anyway, let's jump into the video.
It's damn hot here tonight. I literally just filled this glass up with water and it's practically finished.
Wow.
Good girl. Wait, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, the force of habit. Ignore that. Do make sure you stay hydrated though. It is important.
Planet Walk has identity issues, so doesn't like people calling him by his gender.
Well, they didn't waste any time getting to that, did they? They haven't even started playing my video. And also, every part of FlatZoid's statement there was just completely wrong. I have identity issues? No, I don't. I know exactly who I am. It's just people like FlatZoid who have a hard time figuring it out. And apparently I don't like people calling me by my gender. Well, given that I decided which gender I am, it wouldn't make much sense if I didn't want people to call me by that, would it? Now, I get what he's trying to say here, but I don't want to spend too much time on it because this is supposed to be a video about Flat Earth, remember? Unfortunately though, that is not the only time when my identity gets brought up. So if anyone wants to complain about me talking about it, go complain to FlatZoid. He was the one that brought it up, not me.
It's sad the society we live in today can't accept if they're male or female.
Oh, I can accept the sex that I am, which is probably male. It's just that my gender, which is non-binary, does not align with that. Two different things. Try to keep up, FlatZoid.
I hardly watch Planet Walk, but when I saw this,
Don't worry, FlatZoid, I hardly watch you either. It took me a week, actually, to find out that this video existed.
Okay, it doesn't show the thumbnail. Anyway, it says Flat Earth totally demolished or destroyed or whatever.
So in case you're wondering, this is totally the thumbnail for that video, and it's not surprising to see why someone might put that in their thumbnail. I mean, it's not hard to demolish Flat Earth after all.
I mean, look at that teddy that he's got on his keyboard.
Oh wow, I just noticed that.
Now you know why he's in the situation he's in, eh? Why he's... Yeah, we all know spiritually he's demon-possessed, and obviously that's why.
So apparently I'm demon-possessed because of a soft toy that I have. People wonder why I don't take Flat Earth seriously, and it's because of stuff like this. It's almost as silly as the whole atheist eating babies thing, just silliness. Hail Satan!
Oh, it's actually a devil teddy. I just noticed the pentagram, and then I noticed it's a demon teddy. Wow. Crazy.
Exactly.
Why would you want a teddy like that? It's not even cute.
Well, I think it's cute, so it is going to be staying there. Feel free to cover it up like you did in this video. That is an actual thing that happened later on, by the way.
Gavin B, can you put a graphic up or blur or something over that plushie? Yeah, I don't like the plushie either.
I can't believe they actually make toys like that. And I bet it's probably made by a Hasbro or something like that, a normal company, you know what I mean?
Okay, let's see if it blocks it, guys. Does it block it? Where does that plushie come from? I don't know, from the devil.
Yeah, it blocks it.
Does it block it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, sounds.
So it's an improvement.
See, I told you. And by the way, since they actually asked about it, the plushie was designed by Emma Thorne. They're no longer available like that, but I believe there are Pride ones that you can get now. By the way, I'm not sponsored to say that. FlatZoid just gave me an opportunity to let people know where to get one because that's something that people have been asking for a while, and for the longest time the answer has been nowhere.
They don't understand the symbolism behind that is open doorways for demons. And yeah, and probably that's because why he's inclined for the other position.
It's just a plushie with a pentagram on it, and besides, I've been debunking Flat Earth for much longer than I've had that. I really didn't expect FlatZoid to get so wound up over a plushie. Jeez.
He's prettier than Arwen. No, that I'll 100% agree with you. At least he's not going bald.
He doesn't know. HRT is pretty good, by the way.
Yeah, Arwen said, look, I'm not going bald. And then the times he kind of accepts it a little bit, he's like, so what if I am? People go bald.
You know, I kind of feel bad for Arwen because this is how he gets treated by Flat Earthers. You know, people that you'd think would have his back. I don't think I've ever heard a Flat Earther say anything positive about Arwen, actually. Maybe I should talk to him.
I think it's just a way of life and people should just accept it and go on with life, you know what I mean?
Well, if you're okay with going bald, then that's fine. Go bald if you want to, but you don't have to. Male pattern baldness is caused by the conversion of testosterone to DHT, and there's a couple of ways to prevent that. You can lower your testosterone, you can prevent it from being converted to DHT, or you can make it so that your body just doesn't use as much testosterone. Of course, not everyone wants to lower their testosterone or prevent it from being used, which is why a lot of people go with preventing it from being converted to DHT. That is how something like finasteride works, but if you're going to go on finasteride, just talk to your doctor about it first, because I am not a medical professional. And also, it prevents hair from being lost. That does not mean that it will grow back though.
It doesn't bother you at all. But if I was to feel myself going bald, I would panic, even though there's nothing I can do about it. I would panic.
I mean, FlatZoid's co-host is talking a lot of sense there. That is what I was talking about. Not everybody is comfortable with hair loss.
Yeah,
Well, the fact
very
I've seen him,
feminine.
he just had long hair and that. He wasn't wearing lipstick and stuff.
Yeah, but
now-
remember that, like, just before this
Yeah.
happened, he was wearing a woman's blouse, and I was saying, look what's going
That's
to happen.
right.
So I'm pretty sure he's referring to the time in which I wore this. And you know, it's a sweatshirt. In fact, it's the closest thing that I have to the colour that I'm wearing in my channel cover, which is really outdated, by the way. I need to change that.
At
You
least
called
this
it.
time, he hasn't got lipstick on, so
No, I think he's got lip gloss on, though.
lip
His lips
gloss,
are
yeah. Looks a bit better.
Well, there's only one time I actually wore lipstick before I came out, and that was because people kept on asking about my lipstick. But I will give them a point for correctly identifying that I am wearing lip gloss in that video. It's one of the few points that they'll get.
Are you ready to start the show?
Absolutely.
Finally, this has been going on for 10 minutes.
But before we do start, guys,
Fuck! I know all the flat earth arguments already. Not only do I know all the flat earth arguments, I know how to refute them as well. So what I'm going to
What?
do...
what?
Really?
He knows how to refute them as well. Then why the hell are we still flat earthers?
Well, there's a number of reasons why it could be. Maybe you don't understand the arguments that I'm making, or maybe you just want to be a flat earther, so no argument that is made is ever going to convince you, even if that argument is right. I could ask you the same question. If the arguments that flat earthers are making are so good, then why haven't I become a flat earther? Whatever biases you decide that I might have, you may also have. And yes, that includes getting possessed by demons.
He's the only one that knows how to refute them. The only one. Let's
That's
see what he-
quite a bold claim to make.
I mean, I never said that I'm the only one that knows how to refute them. Even in the video, I said that I'm not the first person to make these arguments. So the first one that we're going to talk about is the quintessential flat earth talking point, we see too far. So this flat earth talking point commonly ignores something. Sometimes that something is refraction, and sometimes it's the observer height.
We see too far has absolutely sweet bugger all got to do with you cherry picking saying if you don't take refraction or viewer height. We see too far. Full stop.
Okay, FlatZoid, what you just said there shows that you have no clue what you are talking about. I mean, I already knew that, but I was willing to give you the benefit of doubt. Saying that we see too far is absolutely meaningless unless you know the observer height. That's like step number 1. Like if I say, oh, I can see something 60 kilometers away, that may sound impressive until you realize that I'm on the top of a giant fuck-off mountain. At that point, I might just be seeing stuff that I would expect to see on the globe. So you cannot say that we see too far unless you have the observer height. Refraction is also important as well, but a lot of flat earthers ignore refraction because it's inconvenient to them. Given that that's really the first thing that he's actually said about flat earth in this video, it's not looking good for your FlatZoid.
Let's put it this way. Does their globe take angular size change into account?
No.
No, exactly.
You know, that's the kind of statement that would be made from someone who doesn't understand angular size. If you do all the calculations correctly, then angular size is completely unimportant, especially seeing as I've never actually seen a flat earther take into account the amount of angular size that their lens can see. That has just never happened. You want to know who has done that though? Dave McKeegan, someone who debunks flat earthers. He has made a video in which he uses a photo from the ISS to basically dox the ISS. But given how fast the ISS travels, I think he was a little bit late on that one.
How is it that a person that doesn't get their own belief system doesn't take angular size change into account, wants to go and say, because you see too far, you don't take these optical effects into account?
That's because whenever these conversations are had, angular size change is irrelevant. It would be like if you said, oh, we see too far, and so I asked, okay, but what body wash were you using when you took these observations? The body wash that you're using is irrelevant. It's not going to affect the image in any way. It's not going to affect the observations in any way.
I mean, and he's definitely heard about the black swan before.
Yes, that is the cherry-picked observation that has massive amounts of refraction in it. If we take a look at an image taken on a clearer day, we can see one of the platforms disappearing bottom first. Exactly what you'd expect to see on a globe.
Oh, of course, absolutely. I think he's actually mentioned it before on one of the...
And he's totally shown he doesn't understand the argument.
I understand the argument, it's just a really bad argument, especially when you consider what we see on clearer days. This means that you cannot say because this observation doesn't match exactly what I say that we should see on a globe, therefore the globe doesn't exist, because refraction can still be playing a part.
Terrestrial refraction is not able to actually account for actual refraction. Terrestrial refraction is not even based on refraction. It's literally based on flattening out your geometry.
I mean, we see it in the black swan. Terrestrial refraction is definitely a thing. And if you're aware of how the atmosphere tends to behave, you know, hot air rises, then you'll understand that light will tend to refract downwards.
There is no such thing in reality as terrestrial refraction. It's literally a belief like magic pixie dust.
Well, what's going on in the black swan image then? Are those cranes just built like that? Or is refraction making them look distorted? I think it's pretty clear from that image alone that terrestrial refraction is a thing. You can try to argue how it works, sure, but you can't deny its existence.
Terrestrial refraction literally is explaining the flattening out of geometry. And that's not what refraction does. Light refraction is specific to incident and angles. Notice the angles require a flat horizontal plane.
So all that refraction requires is mediums of different density and light to travel through them. That is the basis of all kinds of refraction. You just have to slow light down a little bit. You do that and you can refract stuff. If there are different densities of air, then it is going to refract stuff. Have you ever seen the heat from a barbecue, let's say, making everything all wavy? That is due to refraction. It is an undisputable fact that light traveling through different densities of air is going to refract. You can't deny that. Also, angles and refraction don't require a flat horizontal plane. That is something that you just made up.
If you're changing your height and elevation, you're just changing your incident angle to the observation. You do know that, Planet Walk, don't you? Obviously you don't know this because you wouldn't be saying the stupid thing you just said.
I'm not entirely sure what the argument is meant to be there. Is it, oh, you've slightly changed the incident angle that the light you're seeing is refracting at, so therefore you should be seeing things completely differently or something, or the refraction should be totally different? If that is the case, then I don't think FlatZoid realizes how little of an angle that changes.
Let's put it this way, I think Planet Walk is very overconfident.
Definitely.
Made a very big statement in the beginning and totally failed on the first point, as if, how can I put it this way? It's poppycock, Planet Walk. You're literally showing you have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
This is coming from someone who has repeatedly shown that he has no clue what he is talking about whatsoever. In fact, he's made claims that are at odds with reality. Essentially what he's done there is projection at its finest. The question with these observations shouldn't be, does this match exactly what we expect to see on a globe, but does this more closely fit the flat Earth or the globe Earth model?
No, it should be, we see too far, therefore geometry of claim, globe, false.
That is the worst way to do any kind of analysis. I could easily say, oh, we don't see far enough, so therefore the Earth can't be flat. To claim that would be very silly. The evidence is going to fit one more than the other, and we should go with the one that the evidence actually fits best. It also ignores the fact that there is always going to be a margin of error. You cannot escape that fact. Of course, when we've got observations like this, where the bottoms of buildings...
And we've already gone through this live on a stream already.
It's crazy that they keep doing this, you know, you don't see the bottom. You don't see the bottom.
Yes, we don't see the bottom. That fits with the globe. Flat earthers just don't have good explanations for that kind of stuff, which is why globe earthers keep on bringing it up. Especially seeing as flat earthers keep on saying we see too far, which, given the fact that we don't see far enough, I think that's a bigger issue for them.
Last time I checked, it's called foreshortening.
I don't think he knows what foreshortening is. It doesn't make things disappear bottom first. That's nothing to do with what it's about.
Foreshortening happens, mate. It's an optical effect.
I don't disagree that foreshortening happens, but it doesn't make things disappear bottom first. This is absolutely hilarious to me.
Things get squished down into convergent points and stuff like that.
If you're talking about an upright building, there's no foreshortening happening there. Foreshortening isn't magical squishy effect.
And notice this picture he's got on screen now. Do you see the compression that's happening at the bottom of these buildings?
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah. How come that's not, like, what's happening at the bottom of the buildings there? How come just a little bit further up it's not happening there?
I mean, sure, there's a bit of distortion there which compresses some of the top, widens some of the middle, and then compresses some of the bottom, but that doesn't account for all the missing floors below the red line. The compression that you want to say exists is completely inconsistent with what we see.
No, but you understand what I'm saying? Why is it that he's claiming this means it's showing Earth curve when the compression is shown to show great amplitude of refraction?
That's because if we compare what we expect to see on a flat Earth compared to what we expect to see on a globe, then this more closely resembles what we'd expect to see on a globe. But you are welcome to try and get a clearer image of that if you want. I doubt that it will show flatness though, because as far as I know, that is the only image that was taken of that. It wasn't a cherry-picked image to try and fit a narrative.
So you got amplitude of refraction thanks to temperature inversion, which compresses the buildings in the background, which shows your horizon to be higher, but it's just simply higher because of foreshortening.
Foreshortening has nothing to do with refraction. If you're going to use a term, learn what that term means. Also, if the horizon is appearing higher than it should, then it would mean that the light is getting bent downwards, which on a flat Earth would make things appear concave.
Yet he wants to claim, when you go to this picture, look how clear it is.
Okay, try to get that amount of clarity at the further distance. You're gonna have a tough time doing so.
And left to right, the x-axis, you know what I mean? That you can see more. There's probably more mileage there than there is going out than the 3 miles you're meant to start seeing curve, and you never see any kind of curvature from on your x-axis.
Well, didn't you know they live on toilet roll Earth?
Of course.
That is because buildings disappearing bottom first is a completely different thing than things curving left to right. You can check this kind of stuff with a 3D modeling program. I've said this plenty of times before, but flat earthers expect stuff that we wouldn't expect to see on a globe. That can be explained by perspective. I should probably give the flat earthers a different voice. But that can be explained by perspective.
Really? Wow. I've never had any flat earther talk like that.
You see, this is his, how can I put it? His childish way of trying to make flat earthers seem, I don't know, dumb or ignorant, I don't know.
It's literally just a way for people to differentiate the argument versus what I'm saying against that argument. I could use a different voice if you want, like, today's argument is going to be... Is that better? I also do it in videos where I read comments, but I try to go for a wider range of voices in that one.
He doesn't understand when he does this, he's just showing he's not intelligent enough to actually have an actual rebuttal, so he moves on to trying to make the other side look like a joke.
It's literally just a way to separate my arguments from the flat earth arguments. It's really not that deep. If I wanted to make flat earthers actually seem like a joke, all I'd do is play a flatsoid video. I don't need to do any more than that. If you want to say that perspective does anything, firstly,
No, it's not do we want to say perspective does anything. It does everything. You're using your eyes, last time I checked.
The point that I'm making is there's nothing about perspective that says that things should disappear bottom first.
Yeah, and you're looking in 3-dimensional space.
Yep.
there's perspective present.
The argument isn't about whether perspective is present, the argument is about whether it makes things disappear bottom first.
I mean, this guy's making it sound like you can switch perspective on and off.
That's not what I said, nor was it what I was trying to imply. Maybe listen to my arguments?
They just turn it off by turning it sideways and giving you orthographic and say they take it into account.
Using an orthographic view can be a way to take perspective into account. Flat earthers saying that it's not shows that they don't understand perspective. It's a good idea to know the formula for perspective, because the formula for perspective does not say that anything should disappear over the horizon.
Formula for perspective is art-based, you ignorant twat. We don't live in an art piece.
Maybe check that you're not using art terms before you make a statement like that, eh? Also, the formula for perspective is used in 3D software, and usually the point of 3D software is to try and make it look as close as it can to real life. Sure, it does take a few shortcuts here and there, but if you were to try and simulate everything perfectly, you'd never get an image rendered. And also, if you're making pieces of art, you're probably not caring too much for the formula for perspective. Just gonna put that out there.
And by the way, perspective is visual. It literally just explains things going to a vanishing point.
So we're in agreement then, it doesn't make things disappear bottom first over the horizon. That's my point. You agree with me. Cool.
Things below eye level go ramp up to the vanishing point. Everything above eye level ramp down to the vanishing point. It doesn't physically happen.
Well, that's not quite how perspective works. It's way too simplified. It's better to describe it with arctan of height over distance. That formula works whether you're looking up, down, or outwards.
The fact this guy's so ignorant on his first point after such a confident statement in the beginning makes you wonder, how the hell does this guy even have followers?
FlatZoid, you have displayed levels of ignorance that far exceed my own in your video. It has been comical to watch. And you see, I've watched further into the video, so I know that the levels of ignorance that he's put on displayed thus far, they're just the beginning.
Remember, we don't believe the Earth is a globe. We understand that the Earth is a globe, because it's a globe. Only flat earthers believe it's flat.
Wow. That should be totally turned around the other way.
You know what that sounds to me, though? That sounds more like to me like he's trying to convince himself.
So I don't know what it's like for this person, but if I say that I know something, that means that I'm certain of it before I say it. Sure, there can be a narrow possibility that I'm wrong, but sometimes that possibility is so vanishingly small that it's not worth paying attention to.
No, you don't know the Earth is a globe. It can't be a globe because the globe is based on faith.
All the evidence I've seen points to Earth being a globe. Flat earthers just have excuses. And because of that, I've never seen a flat earther give an adequate explanation for why things disappear bottom first. But they'll keep on repeating the same things over and over again like they mean something. Tell me, which one of those sounds more like faith?
Flat earthers don't want to talk about flat Earth. They much rather put their ignorance to display talking about how they don't understand science. Sorry, the only ones I see that don't know science are anti-flat earthers. That's damn sure.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think like my channel's literally based upon? Flat Earth the last time I checked?
Well, flat earthers sure do spend a lot of time trying to show that Earth is not a globe, rather than showing that it's flat. So many of the things they talk about are things that they think should happen on a globe, but don't because they shouldn't happen on a globe. They hardly ever explain how things should appear on a flat Earth. Again, faith.
The most hilarious FE justification for boats disappearing bottom up behind the horizon was, they are hidden by water mountains. What?
By water mountains?
It's literally... What was the word I used earlier? Forced perspective.
Right.
Yeah. We have foreshortening.
Okay, a really good way to show that you know nothing about a subject is to use terms inconsistently, or not remember what the term you're using was. You forgot that the term that you were using before was foreshortening, which you're still using incorrectly, by the way, so you just said forced perspective. Now, forced perspective and foreshortening are both different things. I don't think you know what either of them mean. None of them make things disappear over the horizon.
The atmosphere won't get sucked off. It will force itself into the available space.
Vacuum is not suction.
A vacuum cleaner, for instance, does not suck things up. The high pressure around the open low pressure system forces itself in. So as that gas is forcing itself into the vacuum cleaner, it's picking up all the dust and dirt with it. That's how it works.
Yes, that is what causes the vacuum cleaner to work. Now, why doesn't Earth's atmosphere do that with the pressure gradient? I don't ever see flat earthers explain that, but maybe FlatZoid will try sometime.
Can you use a vacuum cleaner if it wasn't contained?
No.
How about if you have a vacuum cleaner and there's a hole in it? Will it work?
Hey, FlatZoid, you know that vacuum cleaners only work because they have holes in them, right? Maybe FlatZoid can go to the vacuum cleaner store and say that their vacuum cleaners won't work because they've got holes in them. But on a more serious note, a vacuum cleaner is actually a really good example of how a vacuum can be sustained not with a barrier, but with a force.
The guy has such gullible followers, they don't even know what he's saying is total nonsense.
That's strange, because when I make a mistake, my followers have a tendency to correct me. And sometimes they even disagree with me when I'm right. That doesn't seem entirely like its gullibility. Now, I think this is a good place to end it, but I want to say something to FlatZoid first. Because FlatZoid has had the gall to call me ignorant, despite him being ignorant about the terms that he is using. FlatZoid will make blatantly incorrect claims as if he's right and then call other people stupid for not agreeing with him. But in reality, he's entrenched so far in his own stupidity that intelligence looks like ignorance to him. And if I come back to this, then we might have some prime examples that I can show. Anyway, leave a like and subscribe if you like this video. Leave a comment letting me know what you'd like to see me do in future videos. As always, a big shout out to my $20 or more patrons: Hugh Jarsz, M.C.Nutkin, Morrie, Vermont1777, Tony C, Rosyna Keller, KidVicious, Sacha Campbell, Definitely Not NASA, Craig D'Amelio, Richard M Chapman, Kaylee, and FistWizard. If you want to support me financially, you can do so on Patreon. There should be a link there. Or you could buy me a coffee. I will see you in the next video. Between you and me, thank you for watching.